Okay, day one of free agency, not even like official free agency, just like, but day one is over. Uh, Still reeling from the news that Kirk is leaving us. But there were a lot of other moves today, and I'm going to go through them all. Not that anyone gets their news from me, but still going to go through them. So like what we thought maybe going to be the big story of the day for the Vikings anyway, before the Kirk news came, was the Jonathan Grenard signing picked him up from the Texans, edge rusher. I think certainly the idea is that he's going to be the replacement for Danielle Hunter. I didn't see anything about Hunter today. I mean, he didn't sign anywhere. But I think it was kind of assumed that he wasn't going to be back, and this pretty much assures that he's not going to be back, because I don't think they're going to pay his the kind of contract he's going to get. He's going to get a very, very big contract. Ooh, that got very blue. But not an expert on the guy. I mean, seems like a pretty good signing though, because he had like 12 sacks last year or something for Houston. Obviously, Houston made a big jump up last year. Guess he's a pretty good, not just a good edge rusher. I guess he's pretty good against the run too. So we gotta get better against the run too. So that was a good one. I think that's a good signing. I forget what the money was. It's a pretty decent sized contract, but it's certainly less than what we would have paid to keep Danielle Hunter. And then we got this guy Andrew Van Ginkel from the Dolphins. He's a linebacker. We know Flores. He likes it, and obviously the Flores connection because he was with the Dolphins. And again, any guys we sign on defense or any guys we draft on defense, I know Brian Flores is involved in that, and I bow before Brian Flores and his defensive knowledge. So if he wants these guys, I trust on that. I think I picked him up for a couple years, like $10 million a year or something like that. So he'll be in the rotation there. And then Gopher Blake Cashman, also from the Texans, most recently of the Texans, I believe I don't think he started his career with the Texans. I think he might have been with the Jets. We brought him in here for a 2 or 3 year deal. I mean, we never know what the deals actually are, but so we got a couple new. We got 2 new linebackers and an edge rusher, and out the door. It's kind of sad. Jordan Hicks left. He signed with Cleveland for not a huge amount of money, and he was really good last year. He got hurt kind of late in the season, but he was really good for a lot of the season last year. But going a different way. So kind of sad to see him go. I would have kept him, but I mean, you can only have so many linebackers. And Flores likes his linebackers because he loves to bring those blitzes. There's only so much to go around. You got Ivan Pace, obviously, as one of the guys. So those are our in bring him in guys. The Hicks is out, and hilariously, I'm almost, I don't know how Marcus Davenport got a contract. He went to Detroit. There was a case for bringing him back just because they got like dead cap, and you could have signed him for almost you could have signed him for almost nothing. But he went to Detroit. I'm gonna be really, really pissed off if this guy goes to Detroit and suddenly decides he wants to actually play. Because didn't seem like he was that interested in coming back from the injury he had last year. I mean, the very brief amount of time he got out on the field, he was pretty good. But that was very, very brief. He only played in a couple of games. And, and then he got hurt, and then reports were that he wasn't exactly, didn't seem like he was maybe putting a lot of effort into the rehab to get back out there. Obviously, we could have used him, but if he goes to the Lions now and suddenly decides to play the majority of the season, yeah, he's gonna become one of the all-time hated Vikings if that's what happens. So he's gone. We didn't lose anybody else yet. I mean, we got quite a few free agents. We didn't lose anybody else yet. Obviously, a lot of these guys officially become free agents on Wednesday. And we did re-sign Blake Brandel and Quisenberry. Brandel got a pretty decent deal. He's a good like kind of utility backup lineman. He's filled in a couple spots over the years, and he's pretty solid. People are like, oh, they're signing him to start. He's not going to start. I mean, I suppose he could be like an emergency option if we still need I suppose a guard. I mean, Reisner's a free agent. I haven't really heard anything about whether or not they're going to try to bring him back. I would assume they would try. I mean, why not? But yeah, I would. It's always good to have that guy who can kind of play all the positions. Obviously, there'll be more moves. There's there's a couple that are looking like, hey, this might happen. Sounds like we might get Aaron Jones from the Packers, running back. They cut him today because they signed Josh Jacobs, and I guess they wanted Aaron Jones to take a big pay cut. He didn't want to take it. Well, what's a good way to get back at the team for trying to make you take a pay cut? Go to one of their rivals. I could go for an Aaron Jones, Ty Chandler backfield. I think that'd be pretty good. He certainly would be better than Alexander Madison. And with what we're now going to have a quarterback, we're not going to have Kirk at quarterback anymore. So we are going to have a running game. This is not going to be another situation where we can really struggle with the run game. We're going to have to run the football. And there are a couple other running backs out there. Some of the guys signed. Saquon Barkley signed with the Eagles, and then Jacobs with the Packers, and one or two other of the free agent backs that signed. Joe Mixon got cut. I suppose he could be in the mix. But yeah, I mean, I sounds like they're really going hard for Aaron Jones. I don't think it would be like a huge deal. I mean, I don't know what he was getting paid with Green Bay. Obviously, they wanted him to take a pay cut. He didn't want to do it. Maybe he just wanted to leave. But hopefully we get that done. That'd be nice. And then we're already getting linked to some of the quarterbacks who are still out there. A couple of the guys signed. I would have been okay. I would have kind of been okay with Jacoby Brissett if we're gonna full on go the bridge quarterback. With the rookie. He signed with the Patriots, I believe, and there's still some guys out there where I guess we're linked to Sam Darnold. I mean, none of these guys are going to be exciting. Oh, Minshew signed with the Raiders. That was the other one. So like none of the names out there are going to be real exciting. I guess I saw someone mention Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, again, nobody that we pick up is going to be exciting. I think most people are going to just prefer to see the rookie, whatever rookie we end up getting. I would maybe, and I definitely don't want Jameis Winston. If anything, you want the bridge guy to be, a mentor type. You want to have the ability to be a mentor type. I mean, like a Jameis Winston, I don't think could possibly be that. So I'm thinking like maybe like Ryan Tannehill. He's going to be out there. That could be an option. I wouldn't have minded Brissett if we could have got him. I don't want Nick Mullins. Like I don't see Nick Mullins as a mentor bridge quarterback. Like yeah, he put up some numbers last year, but some of those numbers were interceptions. In fact, a lot of those numbers were interceptions. I mean, he basically single-handedly cost us that one, that first Detroit game because he just kept throwing the fucking football to the other team. So I can't watch Nick Mullins again as the quarterback of the Vikings. I can't do it. The argument is, he's been with the team for a couple of years. He knows the system. Yeah, well, he also throws 15 interceptions a game. So I don't care if he knows the system. He's also the guy who played terrible football games and then would go talk to the media afterwards and talk about how good he played. I don't want I don't want him as the bridge. I don't want him as the bridge guy, the mentor guy. But it does sound like we are gonna at least look into some of these quarterbacks. Darnold is the one they're talking about. I don't know. I mean, obviously he was a bust with the Jets, but I mean it's the Jets. I mean, he's been with the 49ers now for I think just a year, but then he was with the Panthers I think before that. I don't know what the purpose would be of a Sam Darnold. I mean, I guess if KOC thinks he can unlock something that hasn't been unlocked before. Obviously there's still people who are kind of interested in going after Justin Fields. Like, I don't want Justin Fields. Plus, you're gonna if you got to get him, you're gonna get him in a trade, and it's gonna be that they're gonna the Bears would demand more in a trade because it's an interdivision trade. I don't want any part of it unless you could get him for real, just cheap. But I just don't think he's got anything. Like I'm not a believer. I know he had some decent games, last season, kind of later on in the season. But I mean, if he's so good, why wouldn't the Bears just keep him? But no, the Bears are probably gonna get rid of him and draft QB at the top of the draft. Probably Caleb Williams. So I guess that's it for day one. We'll see what else transpires. This was the emotional day, but we'll see what happens in the future. I'm sad about the Kirk thing, but I do like the moves that they've made so far. These other moves, because if you're going to be presumably much weaker on offense, of course we were pretty weak on offense after Kirk went down anyway, but last year. But if you're going to be weaker on offense, let's really give Brian Flores all the weapons that he can handle, and let him really go to work, because he had a serious lack of personnel last year, and he took this defense from the absolute bottom to kind of mid-pack. You give him some more weapons, maybe something in the draft too. Boy, we can have a pretty damn good defense, and maybe contend for something if we have decent QB play. And again, I think it's 100% now we're gonna get a quarterback in the draft, first round probably. Plus, the more guys you're able to pick up kind of to fill spots in free agency, you don't need as many draft picks. So you could then take those, take those extra draft picks and use them in a trade to move up. But anything like that's not going to happen. There's not going to be like a big draft trade until close to the draft. So, so day one is over. It was emotional. It was a roller coaster, and we will see what happens in the coming days.